Hello there. My name is Dr. Morgan Reed. I am 35 years old and I work at a hospital in the town of Bay. What is the town of Bay, you may be asking? Well, Adventure Bay is a glorious town where we have lots of amazing citizens, lots of amazing places, and most of all, the Paw Patrol. Who are the Paw Patrol, you may be asking? Well, the Paw Patrol are the groups of pups who are named Chase, Marshall, Zuma, Rocky, Rubble, Sky, Everest, and Tracker. Followed by the owner whose name is Ryder. They go on adventures on missions to help keep the town safe. I actually happen to know the Paw Patrol. Not only that I'm a doctor, but I'm also a therapist. And luckily, I have Ryder as a therapist, so I get to see Ryder and the pups pretty often. The Paw Patrol was always loved to play, where there was some times where they asked me to stay and play with them. In fact, the Paw Patrol was always happy pups, and there couldn't possibly be anything that could get to them in an upsetting way. Well, something did happen about a year back that changed not only the pup's life, but my life as well. I was on my way to go see Ryder for our therapist session. It didn't take long for me to get to the lookout, since I know I only work a few minutes away from the lookout. When I finally arrived at the lookout tower, the first thing I saw was the pups jumping and wagging their tails. Right after I parked my car and got out of the pups immediately tackled me and started licking me. Okay, that's enough, you guys, I said, laughing. I looked at all the pups and noticed there was one thing was a little off. All the pups were there except Marshall. Even Ryder was nowhere to be in sight. And to my curiosity, I began to ask the pups on where they were. Hey pups, where's Marshall and Ryder? I asked. Marshall and Ryder are upstairs, Chase replied. Marshall is laying in bed because he's really sick, and Ryder's with him to keep him company. Oh, well, can we go upstairs and see them? I asked. Yes, also. Sure, come on in, Sky replied in a joyful tone. I began to follow the pups upstairs to the elevator. After finally making it upstairs, I then walked over to Ryder, who was sitting on the stool in front of Marshall, laying on his pillow with a blanket over him. Ryder then turned around and saw me. Oh, hi, Mr. Reed, Ryder said in a happy tone. Hey, Ryder, are you ready for our session? I replied. Yeah, but Marshall's really sick today, and I promised to take care of him. Can I have my session next week? I was a bit surprised from what Ryder said, but I do understand what he means. Sure, Ryder, I understand. After having that conversation with Mr. Ryder, my phone rang. Hello? Dr. Emily. Dr. Morgan, it's Emily. Oh, hey Emily, what's up? We need you down at the hospital. We have a patient who you can only handle. Alright, I'll be there in 5 minutes. Hey, Mr. Reed, can you stay and play with us? Zuma asked. Zuma, I'd love to, but I have to get to work. It's an emergency. Okay, but don't worry. Can we play when I get back, okay? Okay, Mr. Reed. When I told everyone goodbye before leaving my car, I made my way to work to help whatever the patient was. A couple of hours later it went by, the sky got darker and darker, and I was in the process of finishing up a surgery which lasted about 5 hours. Honestly, I was really tired and I couldn't wait to get home and sleep. After a few minutes, I left work that night and got back into my car and headed home. It wasn't long before I made it to my apartment building. As soon as I entered my apartment, for some reason, I cooked myself dinner, cooked and took a shower, and went right to bed. After about a few hours, specifically 1:15 a.m., I got a phone call which woke me up. Hello? Please come quick. I immediately jumped out of bed at the sound of that voice. It was Ryder. Ryder, what's the matter? It's Marshall. He isn't waking up. What? How? Did you try shaking him? Yes, and I even tried throwing water on him. He's just not waking up. Please come. Okay, I'm on my way, but one more thing. Huh? Does he have a pulse? There was a few seconds of silence until Ryder spoke. Yes, he does have one. Thank God. Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you and the other pups to wait for me and the ambulance to arrive. We will be there as soon as possible, okay? Yes, sir. I hung up the phone and immediately got dressed. I got into my car and dialed the hospital that I work at. Hello? Emily, I need an ambulance at Paw Patrol lookout as soon as possible. No questions, just go. I hung up the phone and drove as quick as I can. I managed to get there in a span of 5 minutes, and surprisingly, the ambulance arrived at the same time I did. I, along with a few of 5 other people, ran out, and we took inside to look at Ryder crying his eyes out. with Marshall in his arms as the pups were crying as well. One of the officers placed Marshall's body onto a mat and the ambulance and so did the truck. As I jumped in the back of the ambulance, Ryder tapped on my shoulder. Mr. Reed, let me go with you? Ryder, I don't know. Please, Marshall is my pup. I can't just let him go to the hospital by himself. I have to be there with him. Tears started to run down Ryder's face. Okay, fine. But who will look after the other pups? I'll call Farmer Yumi to come look after them. I'm sure she'll agree to it. Ryder pulled out his phone and dialed Farmer Yumi's number. He was talking to her on the phone for a good portion of time before it hung up. Okay, she said that she'll be there as soon as she can. Alright, we have to get going. Now! Okay, pups, go inside the lookout tower and wait for Farmer Yumi to get back here. Okay, Chase replied as all the pups ran to the lookout tower. Ryder and I hopped into the back of the ambulance and drove off. We placed an air mask on Marshall's face and constantly checked his pulse to make sure he still had one. We arrived at the hospital with a span of 5 minutes. We immediately rushed to Marshall's body to the bullied lead, and I just told Ryder to stay in the waiting room, and we do our best to help Marshall. We ran for some tests to try to figure out what caused Marshall to pass out like that. After for about an hour and a half, we finally figured it out. It took a moment to think. How am I going to tell Ryder about this? After about 5 minutes, I walk out of the waiting room to find Ryder sleeping in a sitting position. Ryder, wake up. What? Ryder, we have some news about Marshall. Oh, okay, is he okay? Well, he's alive, but there's something I have to tell you. What is it? We know what caused Marshall to pass out. What? What caused it? We ran an EEG test on him, and what is an EEG test? That's not important right now. What's important is that the reason Marshall passed out was because of epilepsy. And that, my little pretties, was Paw Patrol The Unforgiven Part 1. Unforgotten, sorry. A Paw Patrol fan fiction or creepypasta written... I'm just going to call it a Paw Patrol creepypasta. This is the very first time I've ever done a Paw Patrol creepypasta on my channel. I know there's plenty of them out there that Shadow Reader narrated, and I believe Sir Horror also narrated it as well, so you guys can go check out their videos. Now, about this, I'm going to say right now that this is actually a very decent and really well-made Paw Patrol creepypasta. I've got to be honest, BC Network, this is actually a very decent and very well-made. Now, this story was written by the BC Network, by the way. He said he's writing part 2, so I cannot wait to see it. This story, on the other hand, was actually a very decent and well-made creepypasta. I gotta be completely honest. I know there's some other Paw Patrol creepypastas out there that were pretty good, but this one I think is just one of the good ones. Now, there are some other ones that I have not narrated, but I might consider getting into them in the near future. I don't know, but it is a possibility that I'm gonna say right now is that this story was actually really good. Now, what I do like about this was that I do appreciate that the grammar was good, the sentence structuring, the storyline. I could definitely say it's not a cliche tutorial, it's not going into cliche, not having this to be a lost episode, finding in a mailbox or anything like that. No, it doesn't involve any of that, which I could definitely say was really good. That it doesn't involve, anyone to take the episode on VHS or DVD, because, that's cliched. Unless it works out well and the person makes it work, anything could be possible. Now, I'm going to say right now, BC Network, that this story was actually pretty sad, though, that Marshall passed out, and we found out that he has epilepsy. Now, fun fact, just to let you guys know, my dog does have epilepsy. You guys probably have heard of me talking about it on one of my streams and videos, but I definitely have to say is that that's actually something I'm willing to say, is that, my dog has epilepsy. But other than that, I could definitely say that this story was absolutely amazing. Now, I do have to say that I cannot wait for part 2. Like, this is actually one of the decent and well-made Paw Patrol creepypastas. I did see a couple of them on Goshia, but the ones that are just filled with cliches, they're not as good as I was hoping. But, I'm definitely have to say, hey, right now, that it's, it's something. I'm definitely going to be completely honest that it's something. And now I am going to say right now that this story was absolutely amazing in many ways. Now, the concept was quite sad at the same time, but it was good concept at the same time. Like, I'm really glad that this didn't go cliche territory and anything like that. I'm glad it didn't go into that many cliches because you know how I feel about cliches. Unless the person was able to get it to work, then I can accept it. That's one of the exceptions. Okay. If I have to say one thing that I didn't really care about this story would have to be, well, the grammar was pretty good and all that, but I just kind of noticed that some of the letters, like some of the words that were capitalized, like I've seen a couple of words that were capitalized. I'm not saying that every single word is capitalized, but there are a couple words that are capitalized. Now, though, some of the words that are capitalized really shouldn't be capitalized. I'm just gonna be completely honest. That was something I wasn't really crazy on. If the only time you would have a capitalized letter, as if it's like a place, person, or thing, unless if there's a specific reason why it's not capitalized. Now, it's kind of confusing in my opinion about why people do this. Like, I don't know what's happened, BC Network, but if it's the name of the person in that, I can definitely say that you could capitalize it only if it's a place, thing, or person, place, or thing. Sorry about that. I'm kind of repeating myself. But there are some words in here that were not really needed to be capitalized. There were some words that didn't need to be capitalized. But that was just the only thing I have to say. That was kind of like one of the only negatives that I do have to say. But other than that, it was just good, well made. What could have been done to make it a little better is maybe fix up the words that didn't really need to be capitalized, Maybe just fix that up. That way the story would be a lot more better, in my opinion. That the way the font of it will make it better. I'm just saying that just so then you have like a better explanation, so to speak. Just thought, that could be, something. I guess I kind of already explained more about what I have to say, so I'm just gonna say right now that this story was absolutely amazing. If you could send me part 2 of this story, BC Network, I will definitely read the part 2 once I get a chance. But I want to say right now, you did a pretty good job with this story, even though this was the decent first Paw Patrol creepypasta I've ever read on this story, but it's a pretty good story in my opinion. Now, with that being said, I guess I'm kind of have to, wrap this up because, well, it's a review, so. But I'm going to say right now that this is simply my own personal opinion, and if you disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these creepypastas, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. And my final rating of the story is going to have to be I'm going to give this one a 9.5 out of 10. I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10 because it's a really decent, well-made Paw Patrol creepypasta. The flow of it was well, the grammar was good, same with the sentence structuring. Although I did spot maybe 1 or 2 grammatical errors throughout the story, but that's okay. And I think there was 1 punctuation error somewhere through the story that I kind of stuttered a bit. But another thing I could definitely say that I definitely want to bring out was that I definitely have to say BC Network, there was time and effort into the story. So you did a pretty good job with this story. And that's definitely a positive that I do have to say. But other than that, the story was actually really well made and it was actually pretty good. And I definitely have to say, I actually liked this story and I found it to be rather amazing. Okay, I think I kind of already explained what I liked about it, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the review. I'm just going to say right now that this story was absolutely amazing. There was definitely lots of time and effort into the story. I definitely have to say, this is actually, I guess I could kind of say it's a lost episode pasta. I don't know if that's how I could pronounce it. But I could definitely say that this story was absolutely amazing, to say the least. So, I guess that's kind of what I have to say. Sorry I'm just, babbling so much about stuff, but I could definitely say it's a pretty good story. Now, you did a pretty good job there, BC Network, so I could definitely say right now that this story was absolutely pretty good. Now I cannot wait to see part 2 of this story. I really am intense to want to see and know what is going to happen in part 4. So feel free to let me know in the comments below about, more stuff. But I could definitely say, BC Network, I highly recommend you keep going with this. I love how this story is going, by the way. I really enjoyed how this story is going. So anyways, what did you all think about this creepypasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what you have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you're brand new here to this channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload so that you guys won't miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out of here. And I will be seeing you all in the next video. So I'll be seeing you guys all in the next video. And please roll the outro. And as always, I will be seeing you all in the next video. Peace out.